Well, like I say, there's some big fish jumping out there. I'm coming back with my fishing rod. Hello there. I'm out here on a small body of water. I believe it's a man-made reservoir that may have been connected to the old S&L railway when it ran through. And if you can see on the far end, there's a little bridge. And today I'm going to be taking photos of that bridge. And I'm going to be changing the aspect ratio to give you an idea of what aspect ratio really is. For example, when we see photographs, we can see them in 4" by 6" printouts, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10, and now recently we're able to get photo paper in 8.5 by 11 to fit your standard home printer. Now, some people will want an 8x10 photograph, but the aspect ratio is 2:3, which would deliver best a 4x6. So in order to make that transition from 4x6 to 8x10, we would have to crop a little bit to make it fit better. And I'll put up a couple of examples of that on the video on YouTube. So today, for consistency, I'm using a 50mm 1.8 lens, which is going to have obviously a focal length of 50mm. The aperture is set at 4.0, and my ISO is set at 400. And so we're going to focus on that bridge as our focal point, and all the images I'm going to take will have that bridge as the focal point. You may actually see some fish jumping in the water from time to time, but with that bridge as the focal point, I'm going to shoot both raw, which is a 2:3 aspect ratio always, because that's the size of the sensor in my camera. I'm also going to shoot different aspect ratios, 2:3, 4:5, 16:9, and 1:1. Just to give you an idea of how each of those aspects changes the way the photo looks. And if you really have a specific thing in mind, it's better to set your aspect ratio in your camera before you shoot. So let's get started on that right now. Wow, that was a big fish. And like I say, there's some big fish jumping out there. I'm coming back with my fishing rod. Okay, so my first image is going to be a 3:2 aspect ratio. So that would be best reproduced in a 4:6 or 8:12. Those multiples, 3:2. So here's the first image, raw. And now the same image in a 3:2 aspect ratio crop. Okay, so my next image is going to be a 4:3 aspect ratio. I said earlier 4:5, it's 4:3. So here's what that's going to look like. First the raw image, and now the cropped image. Now I'm going to go to 16:9, which is wider. It's kind of like a widescreen TV, and so this is going to show you a wide, more almost like a panorama, but not quite. There are other ways to get panoramas, and I'll get into that in another video. So let's look at 16:9 raw image. And the cropped image. And finally, the 1:1, which is a square image. This is what you would find as a thumbnail on Instagram. Originally, Instagram would only let you upload 1:1 aspect ratio, but they've recently upgraded their software, so now you can use a 1:1 thumbnail, and then when the thumbnail is clicked on, it opens to its full size. However, this is a 1:1, and I find this one quite useful sometimes for isolating certain things in landscapes. If you really want to draw the focus in on something, you crop it to 1:1, and it highlights that particular feature of your landscape. So here is the 1:1 aspect ratio in RAW. And here it is cropped. Take this all back home to the office and edit, and I'll probably get some photos along the way because it's not a bad day. Rain is forecast, and we do have a little bit of mist now and then. There was a nice fog when I was driving out here, and I thought, oh, this is going to be perfect. And of course, when I get here, the fog decided to go somewhere else, as it always does. Anyway, I'm going back to the office to edit this and put it together so that you can get an idea of how aspect ratio looks and how it works in your camera. All right, I'll catch up with you later. I am back in the office. I'm sure the most observant of you have noticed something, and that is, hey Lonnie, those raw files all look the same. There's no difference from one aspect ratio to the other, and you're absolutely correct. That is true, because raw is a 2:3 aspect ratio, always, because that's the size of the sensor in my camera. I said that at the beginning of the video. With that bridge as the focal point, I'm going to shoot both raw, which is a 2:3 aspect ratio always, because that's the size of the sensor in my camera. It's always going to be a 2:3 aspect ratio because that's what size this sensor is in my camera. No matter what I do, I can change that in the JPEG file, or I can crop that after I've processed it, but it's always going to be 2:3 when it goes into the raw file. Now, having said all that, raw files are more than just full sensor. Raw files are a lot of data that may sometimes be unnecessary, but it's all there. It's like seeing a grand sweep of the entire landscape when all you really want is a clump of birch trees. So you get the whole landscape, then you can cut that down and enhance certain things, lighten the bark on the trees, darken the shadows, maybe add a little richness to the color of the leaves. That's what raw files are for. I always explain raw files as kind of like when you're in a recording studio and you record everything at 0. No bass, no treble, no reverb, no effects of any kind. Then you add those effects in the mixing process. And that's kind of like what raw photography is. You have all this information, but it really isn't enhanced in any way. So you add the enhancement after the fact when you're processing it. So I hope you got something out of this little video today, besides the rain that I had to drive through on the way home, besides the fact that I'm stumbling and stammering over my words. I'm really still not comfortable doing this, but I'll never get comfortable if I don't continue doing it. So I'm just going to do it. Damn it. So please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think of what I'm doing, tell me what you think of this particular video or any of my videos, and I insist I'm going to continue doing more videos. It's something that I need to do for the creative side of me that's not being tickled now that I'm not drumming anymore. However, all that said, like, subscribe, and click the little bell that gives you a notification every time I upload a new video, and there will be more uploads of new videos. I promise. I promise. All right, everyone, thank you very much for coming along with me today, and stay tuned for more in the future. Have a good one, and always remember to carry spare batteries. Hey, that's an idea. I can do a video on spare batteries. Cool. All right, until next time, see you later.